Welcome in. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 women. I'm so excited about today. This is going to be such a fun conversation, and I'll tell you how it came about. This is my friend Connie. You'll be meeting her in just a minute. And Connie is one of you. She's a viewer. She had watched one of my videos where I was talking about my health journey, and she sent me an email and she said, you know what? And she had a few suggestions for me because she's in the business of fitness and health and lifestyle and diet and that sort of thing for women our age. So the reason that I brought her on today is because she and I had a conversation. Gosh, Connie, it's been about a week now, I think. And when we ended the conversation, I think it was on Zoom, it might have been on the phone. And I thought, I should have recorded that because it was all the questions women our age have about how do we feel better? How come my joints are creaky? How come I just am not happy all the time? I'm not energetic. I'm lethargic. I'm overweight, blah, 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 blah. It was all those questions. So I asked Connie if she would come back on, and we're just going to duplicate the conversation and see where it goes. So welcome in, Connie. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you, Kimberly. It's been so fun getting to know you, in person. I've always enjoyed your YouTube channel and felt like, the two of us have a lot in common. So I'm happy to help you and the viewers out there kind of maybe tease through some of the things that are misunderstood in diet and lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me, and I knew this at one time because I went to your website and I looked around. Can you tell me what you do, what you're called, who you work with, that sort of thing? And then I have a ton of questions.
Okay, great. So I'm a functional diagnostic nutritionist. About 14 years ago, I was kind of led into this field. My junior high age daughter started having some hormone issues, and modern medicine couldn't fix her. She had a chronic migraine situation. And so I went into mama bear mode, and the internet was brand new for me back then. And I started studying nutrition and learned a whole lot. And, the medical community couldn't find anything wrong with my daughter. And I asked, could food be, something that I should be aware of, nutrition? And they, shook their heads and said, no, there's nothing going on there. Well, it turned out she had a serious grain intolerance, and gluten, was really unknown to me anyway, at that moment. And so I dug in and I started having, she was better after it took us time to figure it out, but we added nutrients in and took away certain things, and she's great now. That being said, I started having moms calling me because their daughters were, having issues, and it kind of evolved. And I got a certification in nutrition, and then I got another certification in nutrition. I didn't go back to university because what they were teaching, I wasn't interested in as a dietitian, unfortunately. So I'm a holistic nutritionist and functional wellness practitioner. And I'm able to use lab tests and your blood work to look at, maybe what's going on functionally. But I also am trained in cutting edge nutrition and lifestyle hacks for, especially as a menopausal woman, I'm figuring out myself how to best, hack my health and wellness. And, it's an unending journey that I absolutely love.
Oh gosh, that's so fun. If I met you at a party and you told me all that, I would be the one cornering you, asking you questions all night long. So this is a thrill for me. All right, I want to move forward, and I want to ask the questions that I know everyone our age is going to have, because things just change after menopause. And oh my gosh, I am noticing it now. I've launched on a get fit journey, which I'm determined to succeed at. And what I have found out just from the little bit of research, well, no, that's not true. I've done a lot of research, is that I quit working out at the worst time possible, right when we're losing all that muscle and our bone density and yada, yada, yada. So we know it's harder. can you talk to us? Tell us why we're getting flabby and fat and why we feel creaky and all that stuff. What happens to our bodies that makes all this come to the surface?
When we start into perimenopause, our hormones start to dissipate, obviously. We lose estrogen and all the sex hormones. And in my opinion, the easiest way to explain it is when estrogen wanes, our insulin, our bodies do not burn fat the same way. And at that same moment, it seems for many of us, for whatever reason, we start to be less active. And, there's also the level of, I would say, toxins in our food and our air. And so there's a lot of chemicals and toxins and things that are kind of disrupting our endocrine system on top of the fact that we're, changing hormonally. And so now we then are not burning fat as efficiently. We may be adding in more carbohydrates or maybe some more alcohol because we're kind of at that stage in our life when we might have a little more time. We're not getting kids in the bath anymore and putting them to bed. Now we have, a lot more time in the evenings. Anyway, that happened for me. And I was less active. So that kind of is just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So
Talk about the muscle loss too. That one really kind of slapped me upside the head because boy, I stopped weight training at the wrong time.
Yeah, we lose muscle mass because we're not building muscle. And well, many of us aren't, we're not lifting weights. We also honestly aren't eating, adequate protein. And then you couple it with the maybe lower stomach acid as we age, our body's maybe not breaking down the food we're eating into the raw materials the body can assimilate. So there's so many metabolic processes that kind of get messed up. And then we'll add in cortisol and insulin. Those biochemicals that the body produces, the higher cortisol with the stress that we have in today's world elicits insulin. Insulin causes our body to store fat. And it's just this, a level of understanding. And unless you're really studying it, it's a mystery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One thing that I've uncovered in my research, and of course you've known this for quite a while, is that it has almost as much to do, maybe even more, Connie, with the chemistry within your body, the cortisol, the insulin, than it does with the calories or the amount of working out that you're doing. It's like I should weigh 109 pounds. Based on what I'm eating and how much I'm exercising. I do not weigh 109 pounds. I wouldn't want to weigh 109 pounds, but it's the chemistry within your body that really kind of runs the show at this age.
Well, absolutely. And your microbiome has a lot to do with it. And I know you understand the microbiome. You're doing things beautifully to support your microbiome. But boy, that is, that between that and how how you're eating, because it isn't about calories in, calories out. That's been disproved. And Jason Fung, the Obesity Code, has written a beautiful book explaining that, and I highly recommend, if you're having trouble, you follow him on YouTube or get his book and start understanding what's going on chemically in your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love Jason Fung. He has a whole bunch of videos, you guys, over on YouTube. He's excellent. He's articulate. He's the real deal. So you definitely can look him up as well. So we're talking about cortisol. We're talking about insulin.
Yeah.
We're losing muscle. What's happening to our bones? Because I know it's like that whole thing. And I told everybody a while ago, I don't want to be like Madge, who fell down, broke her hip, and that was the beginning of the end.
Right. right.
So talk to us about our bones and how we keep our bones stronger.
Well, that's the exercise. Obviously, our diet, it comes into play, and gut health is a big piece of it. If you're not able to break down your food into nutrients that your body absorbs, you're going to be deficient in key nutrients that support bone health. But hormones and as we lose estrogen, that's another kind of hit on our bone health. But the exercise, the weight bearing exercise, the rebounder, the weightlifting, the walks. I'm a tennis player, and so that pounding on the tennis court is great for my bone density. So there's a lot of hormonal things happening in addition to, if you're not exercising, and I'm not talking about knocking yourself out. I'm talking about 20 minutes of a relatively intense session, exercising with light weights, or and could be a cardio workout. It could be, a high intensity training workout, those types of things that aren't going to leave you exhausted. It's going to leave you energized a couple of days a week. That's important. And then you need to get your steps in so that you're not, sitting on the couch or in front of your computer all day long. That's going to really improve bone health over, the next 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah. My couch has a sucking mechanism.
Yeah.
When I sit on it, it's like really hard for me to get up again. One thing I want to say that you mentioned is the rebounder.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you want something that's in your house and affordable that you can get on every day for 10 minutes and rock your world and change your life, it is amazing. What I love about the rebounder is you get a great cardio workout, and it really activates your lymph system. So you lose the puffiness, the swelling, the whole thing. Just love it. If you're not a tennis player like Connie.
It also reduces stress. And cortisol is that hormone that, adds belly fat.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
No.
So, because when cortisol needs to get used up. So when you're stressed out, if you've had a meeting that, stirred you up, go for a walk.
Oh, really? Is that what's going to help dissipate it?
Absolutely. It'll burn through it, just like blood sugar. You got to use your body, and we're designed to move. And when you're sitting on the couch, watching YouTube, it's important to balance it, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about, you see a lot of women our age. Now, that's my guess. That's the kind of the foundation.
My demographic, yeah.
What would you say are the top 3 problems or things that you see repeatedly that once you change those have the biggest impact? In other words, if someone's watching right now and they're saying all those things, I'm puffy, I'm overweight, have no energy, my everything hurts, I just feel yucky. What are the top 3 things that if you can get your fingers on someone and have them tweak in your life that you found really starts that success ball rolling?
Okay, I like to obviously I'm a nutritionist, so I'm going to focus on diet and our understanding macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So first thing I'm going to look at is, okay, how what size are you as a human being? Are you 5'6" and weigh 160 pounds? Okay, so then I know that we could plug it into the BMI and that all of that. But typically I like to say for a guideline, and when I talk about diet, I want you to understand that it is just that. It's a guideline. Your body is going to do what your body does, but we have to have, guidelines to start with. So I like to say at least 20 to 40 grams of protein per meal. And at this stage, many of us, that have been really focusing and working on getting healthier, we're maybe eating 2 meals and a snack a day. So I want you to really kind of appreciate the fact that your body needs at least, and this is very conservative, 80 grams of protein a day. Okay,
Yeah.
so then we're going to talk about protein if that's okay with you right now.
Please, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because I
hard
think
for me to eat that much. It's
it
hard.
is. It's very difficult. I
Mhm.
agree. And dietary protein isn't absorbed like we believed it is absorbed. That's why when I contacted you about, maybe the viewers will remember, about the perfect aminos. When you first started kind of learning about, all right, I'm gonna take this to the next level, and I need my babysitter. I remember your words; they were very cute. Your babysitter wanted you to, the trainer wanted you to eat more protein. So you grabbed the whey protein container and thought, okay, I can do this. Well, let me educate you. The whey protein isn't structurally created to build muscle. It's not a complete protein. And that whey protein is going to be maybe 18% assimilated as protein in the body. The rest of that powder is going to act like a carbohydrate. It's going to act like sugar. So we want to make sure we're getting the right protein, and that protein is assimilated properly to build muscle. And we don't want to add carbohydrates or sugar into the diet. We've got plenty of that on board.
Mhm.
That being said, the Perfect Aminos is a supplement that I've found that will be 99% assimilated in the body to actually build muscle.
Okay, so these are the perfect aminos, you guys. This is what Connie told
Suggested.
me about it when she saw me talking about the protein powder. What I didn't realize, and this just came up between Connie and I this week because we kind of email back and forth,
Mhm.
is I thought this was just going to help produce. I guess I didn't realize that it actually counts for some of the protein that you need to eat for the day. That was news to me. So tell me about that. And this is a supplement, you guys. You don't need it to get healthy.
No,
I
no.
promise you that. I am just doing everything. I'm doing it all.
Yeah.
And so when Connie suggested this, I went ahead and ordered it. Tell me how that counts for some protein in your diet. I didn't even realize that.
Well, with the perfect aminos, I mean, it's a perfect protein that is bioavailable. And when you take 5 capsules, it equates to 15 grams of usable protein.
See, I didn't know that. Isn't that funny? And I've been to their website, I've joined their Facebook group, everything. And so that's news to me.
And then let's think about, a serving, maybe 3 to 4 ounces of chicken, white
Mhm.
meat chicken. That's going to provide about 20 maybe about 25 grams of protein, but only 32% of that is utilized as a full, perfect amino acid profile that builds muscle. The rest of it is going to be utilized differently in the body, if you will. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
So is that why we have to eat so much protein? Because
Yes.
not all of it is getting assimilated the way that it.
Exactly, right. And then we have to think about, okay, is my stomach acid adequate to break down the animal protein or any protein, anything, small enough for my small intestine, my microvilli to absorb as protein, right?
Okay, so is that why you take the digestive enzymes?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Oh,
That's
so
because the
okay.
enzymes are going to work in the stomach and break down better. I mean, obviously you need to chew your food. And that's
Right.
another thing. We eat too fast.
We
I'm
do.
guilty of it,
I
right?
know I do.
Yeah, I do. It's like, I got to get through this and move on.
I got stuff to do.
So, digestion starts basically as you smell the food, and then you put it in your mouth and you chew it, and then you swallow it, and then your stomach does the rest. And most of us at this stage don't have adequate stomach acid to break down food well enough to be absorbed the way it's supposed to. That's why we have, bloating and gut irritation and, all the things, digestive, constipation, diarrhea, all that stuff.
Is that a function of age that we're losing that stomach
Yeah,
acid?
as we age, we lose stomach acid, just dissipates, unfortunately.
Okay. So are you saying that if we're going to be eating a meal with protein, which every meal I eat now has to be protein because
Yeah,
it's hard to eat that much, you guys, it really is.
I know.
So are you saying take digestive enzymes with every meal or
Most
just
of
like
us,
once a day?
most of us at this stage do well with a digestive enzyme. Or there's Swedish bitters or apple cider vinegar. All of those are, or you chew for 30, 40, chews per.
Mhm. Okay, so let me ask you this, because I know people are wondering this. If I take apple cider vinegar with a dash of cayenne and a little bit of water, and I slam that right before I eat,
Perfect.
is that going to help my digestive enzymes?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Well, it's the acidity. I mean, your stomach, it needs to be super acidic to do the things that it needs to do to break down food.
Okay.
And the apple cider vinegar will help that function.
So that will help more of the protein get
Be
absorbed in a
Yes,
meaningful way to build
yes,
muscle. Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Plus I take digestive enzymes too, just because I do it all.
Well, and you also take the collagen peptides, right?
Mhm.
And those need to be taken with your meal as well,
Oh,
because
okay.
they're not going to be again, it's the amino acid profile that's essential to absorption.
Mhm.
And it's
Okay.
tough to kind of wrap your brain around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of us are hearing this for the first time. It's relatively new information, in my opinion. And we hear protein, 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 but a lot of people don't understand that too much protein isn't a good thing also. So you have to
Mhm.
have that kind of middle. You just have to have the right um, absorption and availability for the body to absorb it.
Yeah. Okay. There's a question over in the or someone's commenting in the chat. I'm a vegetarian. It would be so much easier if I wasn't, but I just can't do meat. I get it.
I
Some
get it.
people just can't do
Totally.
it. Do you have any tips and tricks for someone who's a
Well,
vegetarian?
the cool thing about Perfect Aminos is it's vegetarian.
Oh,
It's vegan. So there is that. And I have had many clients who are the same, I used to be vegetarian. It
mhm,
didn't work for me, for sure. Um,
mhm,
I yeah, but eating higher protein, like something like the Perfect Amino, and they have the website, Body Health is the brand, Perfect Amino
mhm.
is the product. They have powders, um, they have bars that I think I love them. That being said, I love the hemp protein powder is one of my favorite protein powders.
Mhm.
It's well assimilated and well absorbed in the body. Then there's legumes, which are higher in carbohydrates. I mean, it just depends on what, how, you need to work a little bit harder, well, a lot harder as a vegetarian or vegan to get the protein that your body needs.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So what's the second thing that you see most commonly from the women our age that you wanna get on right away?
The low calorie dieting.
Oh. I know. I'm guilty of that.
We all are. Well, that's how we were. We were.
That's what they told us. It
Yes,
calories in, calories out. Calorie
yes,
deficit. If I've
yes.
heard that once, I've heard it 3 million times.
Oh, amazing. It's just mind-boggling, because when you start to understand how the body works, when you lower your calories into starvation mode and you're eating, 6 or 7 times a day because you're starving, first of all, you're impacting your insulin, and that's a recipe for disaster. We want insulin to be as low as possible. And your metabolic set point, I mean, the furnace in your body turns down. Your respiration rate slows. Your heart rate slows. So what we've done by our low calorie dieting for maybe 20 years, we've been at this since our 20s, girls. Seriously, it's not like never.
It's not for sissies.
Exactly. So if we've low calorie dieted because that's what the powers that be told us was how to manage our waistlines, then we've slowed our metabolism. It's maddening. That is something that is very difficult to remedy. I mean, it's not like you can just go from 1,200 calories to 2,200 calories and not gain weight. So it's gentle progression that we're going to have to ease into, adding more fat in, adding higher protein, really watching the carbohydrates, and getting our exercise. So it's a multi-pronged situation that is not an easy, quick fix.
Yeah.
But it's worth doing for sure.
Yeah. Okay. What's number 3?
Number 3 is change when you eat.
Oh.
That's when the buzzword of the intermittent fasting gets really interesting. Because we are, if you look at early humans, we are not designed to eat 3 times a day or 6 times a day, as conventional wisdom told us. We are designed to forage for our food, and we didn't have food every day. So we get better in a fasted state when the body can tap into our energy, reserved energy, our fat stores, and make, use that fuel source instead of the sugar that we just ate. Okay. So understanding that, our body works best when it is, fasted 13 to 15 hours most days of the week. Maybe some days you go into a longer fast, maybe it's a 20-hour fast. You eat dinner to dinner, and you don't snack in between. Snacking is another huge mistake that we're basically taught, you eat many meals a day, but you address when you're eating. And I like to kind of think of it as, you open an eating window and you enough of your food, enough calories. I'm gonna say the bad word calories, okay, but it is a measurement of food. So you need enough fuel to have your body, be able to be fueled for the next several hours, right? And so that you're not hungry and that you have all your metabolic needs met, and then you let your body utilize that fuel.
Okay. So we've talked about diet, exercise, body chemistry. Can you, because I've said it over and over again, and it is tough to eat that many grams of protein. We need the protein because we're losing muscle just as a function of aging.
Right.
Can you talk about a sample? And if we're going to cram it into 8 hours, because we want to have some fasting time, what does a day look like? Can you give us an example? And I'm sure you've done this a million times because this is what you do.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say so. If you wanted to play with the 2 meals a day, so you wake up in the morning and maybe you have a cup of coffee, which is, first of all, have your water, lemon water. Some of us like apple cider vinegar water. Just depends on what works for you. And then for me, I'll have a cup of black coffee, and I graduated to black coffee because I loved my heavy cream. I love, my nut pods, because then I went dairy free, and it was really a stretch to do black coffee. But anyway, I got to black coffee, and here I am. And I'm not saying you have to, but to start off and stretch that breakfast an extra hour. Take it slow. Don't, dive into a 17-hour fast, right? And then you design your meal to, obviously, that you want as much protein as you can, stomach. So maybe you're going to have a scramble, maybe you're going to have turkey, ground turkey, a couple eggs, and if you do a little bit of cheese and some vegetables and plenty of fat within that, you're going to use olive oil or butter. Maybe you're going to have a piece of bacon. So the serving of protein, if you have 2 eggs and maybe 3 ounces of turkey sausage, you're going to arrive at about maybe 30 grams of protein, right? And then obviously you're going to have your carbohydrates. And if you're going to have a piece of gluten-free toast or some potatoes, maybe there's about 15 to 20 grams of carbohydrates in that meal, right? And that should fill you up. It should taste nice and make you, you get to that comfortably full place. And then if you want, thinking, okay, I know I'm not going to snack, maybe you have a couple of strawberries or blueberries or something. Or if you have a sweet tooth, you have a chocolate covered almond or 2, and then you close that eating window. Okay, you're done with that meal. And you go about your day and you drink, water and maybe some tea or decaf coffee, depending on, if you can tolerate that. And then you open up your next eating window and you have that second meal, but it is a complete meal. And I think that's what many of us kind of missed. We didn't eat complete meals twice a day. We were snacking throughout the day because it was a low calorie food and I got so many calories a day. And that's just kicking up your insulin and causing your blood sugar to, be high. And when your blood sugar's high in your bloodstream, your body cannot use the fuel you ate. It stores it.
Right. Yeah. So how do we work with that to get the amount of protein? So if we have 2 meals, that's maybe 60 grams of protein. We're still...
You can add a few nuts in, and then maybe you do a supplement. I mean, it's interesting. It doesn't have to be done perfectly, but if you're improving the amount of protein macro, and your body is seeing an improvement, maybe you're adding an extra egg in, maybe you're adding a little bit of hemp protein or some collagen peptides, anything you can do to, just tick up that protein intake and see what happens in your body. It's not easy.
One question I have, getting back to the protein powders, and I put away the protein powders after talking with you. Would you recommend the hemp powder for people who are not vegetarian as well? It's like when you say it's one of my favorites, does that mean across the board? And if you like it, why do you like it like there's pea protein, there's whey protein. Why do you like hemp over the other selections that are out there?
I say diversity is important. I
Mhm.
like hemp. For one thing, I don't do well with protein powders. My body doesn't love them. I usually gives me a stomach ache. For whatever reason, the hemp protein, and it doesn't have to be powder. You can do hemp seeds in a blender, right, to get a
Mhm.
smoothie. Um, I feel good using hemp, and a lot of my clients are the same way. It's super clean. Uh, To make a protein powder, there's a lot of processing.
Mhm.
And the hemp is, in my opinion, very close to a ground hemp seed.
Okay. Yeah.
The other thing is there are great like bone broth proteins or beef hydrolyzed proteins um, that are professional grade. I don't see a lot of them on the market, but those are nice for, to try.
You
And
know, I just saw a bone broth protein from Ancient Nutrition.
yes, that's been on the market for a while, and
Mhm.
I'm I haven't tried it personally, but I have several, I have clients that try all kinds of things. But
Mhm.
just try it. My suggestion is when you go to the store or online, buy a couple of envelopes and give them a try before you buy the canister.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what I would say. Obviously, look for the cleanest, the least ingredients in the package, and just give it a try. We're all
Yeah.
unique.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about diet a little bit for women our age. It's tough, ladies. I know it's tough. It's frustrating. It just is. What do you, if you've got someone in front of you that's just like desperate, like, give me what you got. What are you suggesting for movement, for activity? Let's say someone's has just fallen away. They've just been on the couch. It's been 5, 10, 7 years, whatever.
Yeah.
How do you get them started moving?
Well, YouTube is a great way. I tell them, um, find a beginner weight workout, 20-minute, just put in 20-minute, beginner weights and find somebody that appeals to you and
Mhm,
just do it.
mhm.
Modify it, but just do it. And then get out for a 20-minute walk, maybe after your lunch or, sometime that's comfortable for you, but just start slowly. But don't overthink it, just get it done.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're beating ourselves up because we didn't do it perfectly. But
Mhm.
I feel, and I'm guilty of this too. I mean, sometimes I just have to get up and give myself 5 minutes. I'm going to do 5 minutes of something I don't think I want to do. And it ends up being enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. I've talked about that. Like, I have a couple of 5-minute energy boosts over on the channel.
Yeah.
Just if you've been sitting for an hour or more, get
Yes.
up and just move. And my experience, and maybe other people that are listening, you guys too, is that if I just get started, it's kind of a success creep sort of thing. I'll do a little bit today and a little bit more tomorrow and a little bit more after that. It's that first getting up off the couch that can sometimes be the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it's springtime. And I mean, our weather isn't agreeing all over the place, but it's going to get easier and easier. The days are longer. And I think there's just something about the new beginning of spring, and it's a perfect time to get started.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about diet, we've talked about exercise. Clearly, those are the obvious ones.
Yeah.
What about supplements? I take supplements. There's probably not a supplement I'm not taking that's good for your health. Talk to us about what do you see are the most beneficial, just not clearly it's not going to be for everybody, but just in general, what do you see and what do you generally look for or look to when you're talking with someone new who's just in that frustrated state?
Supplements are, in my opinion, very, very essential because our food you know, that our soils do not have what I feel like if we did the, you know, the nutrient density measurements today, I mean, I think they were done 50 years ago. What you pick, you know, off the tree today is going to have much less nutrition than what we, you know, have the guidelines are telling us. So by taking a multivitamin, you know, that's more insurance that you're getting. And I'm a supplement snob. I have a supplement dispensary. Professional grade supplements are essential. You know, don't waste your money. Anyway, the quality makes a big difference. And there's a lot of, you know, heavy metals and things that shouldn't be in you know, brands that aren't, you know, just aren't as quality as I would prefer. I feel like a multivitamin is a very, very good thing. An omega-3 fatty acid is important. Vitamin D is essential because we're just not getting, you know, those enzymes. Enzymes are very important, digestive enzymes. And then that's where, you know, a consult with a qualified practitioner would really be helpful. You know, I have programs that we look at blood work to see, you know, where you might, how are your B vitamins being assimilated in your body? How is your energy, you know, getting into this cell, that mitochondria of the cell? And your nutrients by supplementing is really going to support that. So there's, you know, I think protein is essential, right? So the perfect aminos are a huge needle mover. And then those nuanced nutrients in the multivitamin and the fats, you know, the omega-3s, and, you know, vitamin C is always good. Vitamin D is great. And then the enzymes to make sure that you're breaking down the food that you are eating.
Yeah.
So those are my standouts.
And get the seed oils out of your diet, ladies.
100%. That is, yeah, that's going to be, huge.
Yeah. Okay, stick with me for just a few minutes. I hope you have time I have more questions. This is a new toy that Connie turned me on to.
Keto Mojo.
Ladies, this little sucker is so stinking handy. If you're interested, you know, it's like I'm on this. I am all over this. There's almost nothing I'm not doing. I am determined to get to a really peak physical shape, not because it's not a looks thing, although I'll take it. I just don't want to get old and frail and fall down like Madge and break her hip. And, you know, that's the end of me. I want to have fun. Yeah. This is called a Keto Mojo. I just got this. Connie suggested that I get it. This measures your blood glucose and your ketones. So it's a keto measurement and it's a blood sugar measurement. It is stinking easy to use. It's like $50. It's very affordable. And what I did is because I was worried about my blood sugar because, you know, I want to make sure that my blood sugar is not too high. So when this came in, I tested my blood sugar several times during that day, after this meal, after that snack, after I did it after my morning coffee, after my nighttime sleepy time drink, just to make sure that there wasn't anything in my diet that was kicking up my blood sugar, which then triggers the insulin and then, you know, another 5 pounds on my thighs. You know, so this sucker is a cool little thing if you're into it. Do you need it? No, you don't. You don't. But if you're interested in getting a really good idea of whether you're throwing off ketones or how your blood sugar is doing, this is super handy. It works really well. It's not that expensive. And I really appreciate Connie telling me about this. She said, get a Keto Mojo. And I said, what's that? Well, this is it right here. Yeah. Okay. So these are all great kind of generic, you're a woman, you know, postmenopausal above 50, you're probably experiencing these things. When someone comes in, you know, I'm going to be different than the neighbor next door, you know, because my blood sugars, or, you know, everything's about my body's different, although there's some general things. So when someone comes in to see you, what do you do? Like, you ask them a bunch of questions, you get blood, what do you do? How does that go?
Well, I have a jumpstart session that I use, and I send an intake form, and it's a very, very in-depth. I'm asking what your symptoms are. How's your gut health? How's your neurotransmitters? What's going on with your moods and inflammation. And so and what are you eating, and what supplements are you taking, what medicines are you taking, what are your main complaints? And so we just go into a lengthy conversation, just like this, and I give you tips and tricks. So many times, once clients find me, they've been down the diet road, and they've done all the things, and they're just not having good luck. And so we just look very closely at function, and I have very in-depth programs for gut health and just functionality to get you back to operating the way you want to operate.
So when you do the blood work,
Mhm.
I'm just guessing here. Let me know if I'm on track.
Yeah.
That really kind of gives you all the details of what is happening in someone's body. Is that correct?
Yeah, it gives a lot of good information. A CBC, I can look at your neutrophil, and your percentages of the neutrophils, the lymphocytes, the monocytes, all those, and find out, are there clues that say maybe there's a bacterial infection or overgrowth in, then we can look at a couple markers, to see what, is there leaky gut? And I know your audience knows about leaky gut because you talk about the ion supplement, and how important the microbiome is. And we get so many clues from that, the chem panel and the CBC and the lipid panel. And I can really take you down and educate you about what those mean. The medical communities they don't have time to do that, and they're looking for catastrophic issues, which we want them to be. But the functional world is a lot different. We have narrower parameters for optimal health, and I can educate you about, hey, you know what? Look at this fasting glucose level is over 100. And, there's a clue that maybe you've got some issues going on. Is there a hidden underlying infection? And then we do a cleanup. Now what I'm seeing is the pandemic has really left us with the spike protein causing viral load that I've never seen before in my practice. I have it myself. And that's a definite issue for inflammatory, all over inflammation, kicking up in so many of us that we've never, it affects the thyroid, it affects the gut, and it's another layer for, and when the body's not happy, I like to say, it says circle the wagons, nobody gets out. And you just can't lose that weight until you figure out why your body's hanging on to everything, because it's stressed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've heard that is it nattokinase?
Yeah, nattokinase, right?
Is clearing the spike proteins.
It is. And also,
Dr. McCullough has been talking about that.
And acetylcysteine is also another one.
Okay.
NAC. And there's lots of things we can do to really help. There's another product called Vivi that I use. Systemic Formula Inc. is a supplement company that I love. But and then we use binders also to pull out toxins in the body. So there's healing modalities that are available that are not expensive, and it's just a matter of giving it a try.
Yeah. If I break my leg or if I'm in a car accident, take me to the ER. For everything else, take me to a holistic functional practitioner. Because that's, fine-tuning your body is what they do. The doctor is there in my world, to stitch up something if it's cut open, or to set a leg. Other than that, I want a really good technician, someone who really can look at the innards of my body. So you said a word that everybody's going to watch me go nuts here because they know how it is. The toxic load of our world. We live in a chemical soup. It's
Yes.
in the air, it's in the water, it's in the food, it's in the soil, it's everywhere. It's what we put on our bodies. In my opinion, and I've shared this with Connie, you guys know I feel this way.
Yeah.
I feel like our health is deteriorating from all the toxins in our environment. I mean, our poor bodies are fighting day after day, year after year. And by the time you get to 50, 60, 70 and more, it's like getting tired of battling all this toxic crap in the world around us. So can you talk to us about toxic load?
Yes, and it's a biggie. I mean, I look around and, how many people are sipping their hot coffee out of the plastic lid, and how many people are drinking their water out of the plastic bottle, and how many people are, sitting in traffic in, the toxic soup, and putting, Tide Pods in the laundry, with fabric softeners, and just little silly things that we think are harmless, that are and eating, salad dressings and fried foods at the restaurants, and with the toxic oils that just don't leave the body.
Mhm.
Exercise is essential because it oxygenates the blood and helps that detox pathway.
Mhm.
Saunas are amazing. Epsom salt baths are wonderful. Just the awareness not to buy the toxins and bring them into your house. Glyphosate is huge. And
Mhm.
if I had time, I could go into, a glyphosate cleanse, and maybe I'll put something together, because there are supplements to really help with that process. But there's
Mhm.
just pick one area, and we could go off on, down the rabbit hole, and appreciate
Mhm.
how important it is to understand it. And
Mhm.
then, just decide what happens after you have an awareness, and
Yeah.
how can you better assist the body in not wearing those toxins.
Yeah. And I want to encourage everyone who's watching and listening. It gets harder as you get older. It really does. But it is exacerbated by this toxic chemical soup that we live in. And you know who did it? Wasn't us. It's the corporations. They're running away with billions of dollars in profits, poisoning us and the planet on the way. So this is a reality, and we need to fight to change it and get the seed oils out of the restaurants. There's going to come a time where restaurants aren't going to cook the fries in seed oil anymore because everybody's going to know it's deadly. It is deadly. So, but right now we're living in the middle of a toxic soup. So we've got to just work a little bit harder and a little bit smarter to keep going until we get this whole mess cleaned up. And it makes it so much harder. And it's frustrating for me because I'll see a picture from the 1960s. And I told Connie this a little bit earlier. Everybody's lean and thin and looks fabulous. You look at a picture from now, everybody's all puffed up and bloated and overweight, or they're just inflamed. This is not because we have poor character or all we sit around and do is eat. It's because we're living in this toxic soup. So we just have to get a little bit smarter and pay attention a little bit more so that we can stay healthy and get this whole mess cleaned up.
Well, exactly. And just, learn about it first, like you said, and
Mhm.
then, incorporate into your day to day all of, a few little kind of practices, the castor oil packs. If you're not familiar with castor oil packs, Google it. There's YouTube it. And, just little things that just going to assist the body in cleaning out. And
Mhm.
I think awareness is a huge part of what I teach anyway.
Yeah.
And you're doing such a good job of that. And it's so
Thank you.
important.
Yeah.
Just appreciate that we just haven't been in in a time ever that had this many toxins.
It's so poisoning. You know what I do with castor oil is I'll run a bath,
Mhm.
fill it up with a whole bunch of Epsom salts, and then I'll pour in castor oil into the tub.
Smart.
And I'll tell you what, ladies, even if you don't want to do it to detoxify your body, your skin will be so soft. It's like I'll walk around the next day going, wow, I feel good. It's wonderful for your skin. I put a lot of castor oil in. So if you have a bottle, I'll put maybe
Mhm.
like a quarter of that bottle. Just really kind of get it all in. And I move my hands and legs and arms up in that water so it coats my skin. It's a lovely, lovely way to really work on getting your body cleaned up and have really soft skin. So
That's a good one, Kimberly. I love it.
I love it too. Gosh, okay, so we've learned about why it's harder. We lose muscle. Our energy's all yucky. What final thoughts? What can you tell someone if they just, drink more water, just move 20 minutes a few times a week, little things like that. How do you want to, let's kind of wrap up and leave us
Oh,
with some good direction. And clearly you can contact Connie if you want to learn more. I've listed her website down below. There's a lot of information there. Also, I've listed the links. These are Connie's links for the Keto Mojo and for the Perfect Aminos. I know we didn't talk about this a whole lot during this video. The reason is that I don't want you guys to feel like I'm selling this because I'm not. This is just what I'm taking to help get back some of the muscle that I've lost. Do you need this? No. Does it help? Yeah. But it's going to be your choice. But these guys are listed down below, as well as Connie's website. If you want to contact her or ask her any more questions, you can find out more stuff over there. So Connie, leave us with a little bit of encouragement that we're going to feel energetic and everything's not going to hurt, and we're not going to be chubby forever and ever.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think if you made it through this video, then you have a lot of tools and tricks and maybe some guidelines to really help you just appreciate, you're living in your body, and I want you to feel good in that body. And does it take more effort these days? Yes, it does. But fortunately, many of us have a little extra time now, and that we're in these golden years, I feel like, and we can put a little more effort into awareness and doing a few more things, like increasing the dietary protein and increasing the time we take in eating that meal that hopefully was prepared with love and care, and just appreciating what our bodies do for us, and appreciating being in a body that we can support it by exercising a little bit more, and not thinking of it as a chore, appreciating the day-to-day experience of caring for our beautiful bodies that we live in. I spent a lot of years in my youth just being unhappy in my body, and that's stressful. I want to just encourage everyone, do the best you can. If you want to take some notes, if you re-listen to this and maybe get a few new ideas, take it day by day and just appreciate and enjoy tending to your physical body. Yeah. Because you're never going to get it done. You're going to do it until you don't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if it doesn't work out well one day and you slip up, you have tomorrow, and give your body time to kind of reboot. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to work with you if you really are looking for more tools. And just be okay with where you are today. Make the changes to slowly move into being better. And it's all going to be good.
Yeah. And we want to stay healthy because we don't want to be like Madge.
No, exactly.
We want to have fun. It's like, I think I'm going to probably be on this planet for another 20, maybe 30 years. I don't want it to be, I don't want to be all stove up. I want to be happy and energetic and healthy. So that's why I'm putting the work in now. So Connie, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I do appreciate you answering all the questions. And I'm sure that we're going to go through the chat and find all kinds of questions. Maybe you can hop into the comments below
Yeah.
in the video and kind of address some of the things that we didn't get to. So guys, look into the comments because there might be some questions answered there, either Connie or I. And Connie's website is listed down below if you want to talk with her, and the Keto Mojo and the Perfect Aminos are listed down below as well. Other than that, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this as interesting as I do. I'll tell you, I'm fascinated by all this and the journey to optimum health, you know, our toxic environment and all the challenges. I'm determined to succeed, and I'm sure that you are too. So I hope you'll join me in that. Connie, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I always enjoy chatting with you, and everybody, thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Everyone, thank you again. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. I'll be back on Sunday with a new video, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.